Hello, and welcome to another episode of TacoBytes, your daily bite of Degen, episode number 431. Quick bite tonight on York Seed. What an amazing event held tonight by Jessica Wong, the founder of York Seed New York. She has built out an amazing hub central piece of different communities around the world via York Seed, and it was really cool to have so many different founders and representation, as investor groups and stuff like that. Hearing a lot of different projects that aren't just building in Web3, but Web2 as well, or what they themselves consider just tech companies building out some cool ideas and pieces. Some really cool stuff around like athletic wear and looking at not necessarily any Web3 piece, but looking at a good part of addressing sports stuff and like the average person, but some rebranding on shoe pieces, which was really cool. I think one of the weirdest or funnest Web2 companies that I met tonight, their name is still whitelisted as they're still on the drawing board with that, but they're literally making rocket packs that people can wear for entertainment purposes of, like skydiving, kayaking, or wearing a rocket. That was a very interesting piece. They actually have a contract with a company out of Dubai to build these, build 4 suits, so people can fly around in rocket suits in the next 2 years, which is a really interesting piece to meet and learn and talk to. Then a couple different pieces on the Web3 side was around music and content creator. There was also, I think it was a shuttle click. I think they were the photography company that was hired and contracted out by A16Z during New York Tech Week to take photographs during all of the events. And there was over 400 events during NFT NYC or NFT Tech Week. And so they had photographers at almost every single location, every event. And then they all got uploaded every night to a central database for those events, which was really cool. And then the kickback piece was to each of those events that had photos get used for any promotional piece. They got, $10 credit piece. So there was some piece back there that's not on chain, but the founder, John, he's a really cool guy, really heavy in understanding blockchain, looking at building some, his platform out on originally was on Polygon, realized that wasn't feasible for the level of scale he was looking at. And so he was looking at like Nephi. And then we also talked about a star network, which is Sony made a fork of a star so that they could have their own chain to run pretty much everything that Sony does on its own chain, which is really cool to see. And then, there was a peer-to-peer wallet, dynamic NFT piece project where they were looking at selling physical items back and forth between someone. And that service underlying piece was contained via NFTs. So even if an item got I bought an item from you, I could then sell that item to someone else, on the back end in this platform. It's stored in there as a dynamic NFT, so I can update the price or I can update the wear and condition of it, which is really cool. I really liked how detailed she went in the Figma deck, Figma being a platform that you can build out presentations and pieces that are sort of click-through-ish, so you can sort of show what a site would look for. And so it was really cool to sort of see, and working to connect her with a couple of the VCs I work with, which was really fun to see built out, and outlined really well. Um, I think one of the strangest pieces, a gentleman that's using AI to compile brain scans into helping humans find their better selves. I don't necessarily know how I feel about AI, determining what my brain scan is going to say, on how I feel. And a lot of questions I had to him was that around the public health information, and he's like, oh, it's a subscription base, so people are paying to upload their stuff. And I'm like, yeah, but you still have to be a custodian of that data. And I think he was just uh, very namaste-ish. So I feel like there was good intentions there. I don't feel like this was any way malignant based project in any way. And when I say malignant, I mean like a bad idea that was just trying to grow and like take hold of something. I think he has a very good objective of trying to help people improve their welfare. I don't think AI telling people how they feel or how they should feel or what they should do to feel better is the solution. That is just me. There's a lot of different types of self-help out there that have helped people accomplish amazing things. And it might not be my cup of tea, but it still doesn't take away that it's done good work. Now, all of that should be taken with a grain of salt. The number one grain of salt that finds salt in my shoulders are 17-year-olds that say they're life coaches and they want to share their experience. I'm like, you still haven't even started shaving yet on a regular basis. Come back to me when you could do that for some life advice. But hey, if someone takes motivational pieces from a 17-year-old life coach, hell yeah. So not me to rain on a parade, but just recognize that it is not my cup of tea. It has been a funny day in the markets today. The DTCC has had some site issues. And one of the funny things that was pointed out to me by someone was that possibly the BlackRock ETF indexing number, the number that comes before an ETF ticker is given, is that it was actually posted up in August when BlackRock sort of started its filing process. And that's sort of I haven't checked that, but I could totally actually see that happening, and crypto Twitter just now realizing that, and that creating the FOMO for the next pump, which is hilarious in and of itself. I love that idea. And because we talk about how much we are in tune with the financial markets, yet we don't even really fully understand the financial market process. We just sort of get stuck up on the action parts, not the infrastructure. And so it's a rather interesting thing, in my opinion, but I still love it. And, I cannot deny that a ton of money has moved into the markets in the last 2 days. In the last 2 days, I think reports of over $66 million of new capital has been deployed in the markets, and huge numbers on other things of money moving around, buying into things, as well as Bitcoin decoupling from alts, which has really allowed both alts and Bitcoin to move in a much different pattern than normal, and shows that each one can live on their own without the other. And so that's sort of a really interesting fact. One of the sad tokens of the day for me is Giddy on Polygon. I love the Giddy wallet. I love how easy it is. And, I love their privacy features. And I also love just how easy it is to open a wallet. But there's been large amounts of emissions on the token, and someone that got in early dumped all their Giddy, dropping the token while the rest of the market went up. was going up. Giddy lost 60% of its value, and that's from that. And you know what? Good. That person out of the their paper hands out of the room for Giddy to go up. I think the team is really good. I know them all directly and have met them multiple times. Have done some really cool stuff on the tech integrations with RPC privacy RPCs on the back end. And Oracle pricing for up-to-date pricing from multiple sources. So like they're working really hard on a really good wallet. Really excited to see what they have coming out with some new partnerships. Other than that, we have another day at the office tomorrow at Station 3, followed by a mainnet event tomorrow night. And mainnet is the weekly Web3 roundup held at Station 3 in New York. And I think officially we will no longer be a desk floater. Officially, 0x Degens gets an office tomorrow, I think, which will be amazing. 0x Degens, the company I've been running for almost 3 years now. Having it get its own office, really sort of solidifies, the future and what's been building out. So really excited for that. Hopefully that all goes through. And if not, it'll be in the next week or so. So it's not like it's tomorrow or nothing. It's, I'm busy covering the SBF trial on Thursday and Friday. So we'll be back to that. The defense or the prosecution rests before lunch, and the defense will take over after lunch on Thursday. SBF is expected to take the stand. Whether he does that Thursday or Friday or waits till Monday, it is not known yet. And that is simply because that is the narrative, that they've been trying to push, that the consumer to FTX relationship was not as clear as it was written out in the terms and services and SBF, talked about, of consumer funds being separated and segregated and safe, that the commingling of funds and everything like that was allowed and okay, and the use of funds. In funny turn of events, Anthropic, which is the company that FTX used over $500 million of consumer funds to invest in, is now those token warrants and equity pieces that were held by Anthropic are now held by FTX Estate, which is selling off assets. Is talking about the potential windfall of getting back more than just the customer funds, but plus more out of Anthropic, as it's sort of having a really good show, and if it succeeds the way it's been doing. I have not done any research on Anthropic. That is, it is on my to-do list. I have a ton more things on my to-do list that are more important, like twiddling my thumbs, clicking pens, but it is on my to-do list, and so I will get to it eventually. But it's been a very cool day. There's been a lot of movement in the Zen ecosystem, and a lot of movement all the way around. I do want to take a quick moment for some housekeeping. I do want to shout out to everyone joining us on Rumble, everyone on YouTube, Twitch, Telegram, Twitter, and Unlonely and on LinkedIn, and then to all the people that listeners out on Twitter as well. Hexy, Grunge, Nose, and Future. I see you guys. Thank you all for joining us tonight. Huge shout out to Hexy. I heard Hexy Cajun on a space today. Asking some clear stuff as DBZen launched on Pulse Chain. So shout out to you, madam. You are amazing, and I love you. I hope you're having a great day. But we are, sort of going on with some Grunge Troll wrote, it has a lot of uncomfortable parallels with the writings of Larry Niven, where the Earth used eugenics to remove folks with antisocial tendencies from the gene pool or kept them handy in case they needed wet work. I'm assuming you're talking about Anthropic. Yeah, wet work. Dirty hands. Everyone's got to get dirty hands. You know, there's some cool shit coins out there to get your hands dirty on. Me personally, I've got, and I know that's not what you were talking about. You're not talking about shit coins. I know what you're talking about. But yeah, shit coins on base right now. eBase. I sort of like what's coming out there. I had an amazing space with Jenna X yesterday before, and we're gonna post out that video on our channels. She's making some cool cut-ups because she said she had a blast of a time and that there was some really funny moments. I think maybe she might have been talking about Thai prostitutes. I'm not quite sure, but go give Jenna X a follow if you haven't already. She was a great host. You know, who knows, maybe there might be more of that. But some really cool stuff. For us, upcoming, we have an interview set with John Degen from XRP. That will be over the next 2 weeks. We talked with him again today. We're both sort of swamped this week, but hopefully we'll have that on the books for next week, which will be really, really cool. John Degen has done amazing things for the XRP community and the little guy. You know, continues to do that work, which is pretty cool. He's sort of, you know, he's pretty awesome. I'm just going to say John Degen's pretty awesome. And then we also have interview set up with Safe Stake, which is a staking platform based for ETH, and not necessarily having to have that full 32 ETH to get into become a validator. And what they're doing with Stake ETH to sort of have liquid staking positions and benefit and yield from that as well. So there's some cool stuff building out. There's always cool stuff building out, you know? I'm pretty excited for what's coming up in the next month. If you guys are on Solana, friend Wombat has a launch project launching at 4:30, I think it is, Eastern Standard Time, on Tensor. You know, 5,000 NFTs going for $10 worth of SOL at the time of purchase. So whatever $10 worth of SOL is at that time. First come, first serve, no whitelist, no pre-solds, no team allocation, nothing like that. I like what Wombat's doing, and child of business. You know, he is 15 years old, and he has been rocking it in the NFT space for the last 2 years, building in you know, what people would call you know, bear market, but coming off the highs of the highs down to the lows of the lows. He's still been grinding, and it's really been cool to see him grow as an artist, and just really trying to build that brand around him. So he's doing some cool things. Want to shout out that launch, and you know, just to everyone that's building or everyone that's talking about building, do it and keep doing it. Huge shout out to all of you. And with that, we are going to shut down tonight, as we are getting back on a sleep schedule of going to bed early, because we have to wake up early around like 3:30 to be at the courthouse by like 4 a.m. to be able to be as we've been every day in the main courtroom, you know, 20 feet away from SBF, you know, having Caroline Ellison walk right past us, though I probably won't see her again for a while. So yeah, we are back to it, and we are going to have a blast coming to you live with midday reports and evening reports, and then you'll most likely always be able to find us in the morning on ATP across the pond, Pengu space. So hope you all have a great night. And with that, we end with the two things we've always ended every single episode. The greatest, worst knock-knock joke on the face of the planet, and our words of wisdom. Our words of wisdom are always the same. Closed mouth cannot be fed, and you cannot feed a closed mouth, meaning if no one knows you're looking for opportunity, opportunity cannot come a knocking. If opportunity does come a knocking and no one answers, it's going to keep on walking. And with that, we give a shout out to everyone that's joined us tonight. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Like, subscribe, comment, and all of those things for the algo, for the algorithm. Just come do it. Just do it once. With that, we end with the greatest, worst knock knock joke on the face of the planet. And that is knock knock. Who's there?